Good afternoon. Going to start with a disclaimer and a warning. So, coming straight out of a boozy lunch with carbs and sugar, you're going to be tempted to fall asleep. But we're going to be showing you a series of placid nature clips with soothing sounds, and the lights will go down. The warning is the lights will come back up again.
So do not fall asleep.
And I'll be watching to see. And I'm saying this because a recent mantra of ours has been and has become, there's a big difference between saying something and saying nothing. And in this mad world that we live in today, if we say nothing and we do nothing, we are complicit in probably the biggest crime against the planet. So while it should actually be a moment where we fall in love with it, absolutely fall in love with it, something else is going on.
So is this our love story to the planet as we change it? Our ambition right now is to obviously think out of the box. How can we be more effective, stir emotions within every person around the globe so that we draw more people in to listen and be supporters in protecting our planet and the wildlife? And so the next piece we want to show you is a little bit of what we really need to be saving. And we captured this over a 40-year period, but many of these scenes are groundbreaking at that time, had never been seen before, unique scenes. But the main reason of wanting to show them to you is these are the particular discoveries that we will never be able to make if we don't protect these areas. So do we not want to have future adventure and wildlife out there?
Don't tell me this is all for nothing. I can only tell you one thing. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I see everything you can be. I see the beauty that you can't see. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I could have showed you all the scars at the start, but that was always the most difficult part. See, I'm in love with how your soul's a mix of chaos and art, and how you never try to keep them apart. I wrote some words and then I stared at my feet, became a coward when I needed to speak. I guess love took on a different kind of meaning for me, so when I go, just know it kills me to leave. To all the stars that light the road, don't ever leave that girl so cold. Never let me down, just lead me home. Don't tell me this is all for nothing. I can only tell you one thing. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I see everything you can be. I see the beauty that you can't see. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. To all the stars that light the road, don't ever leave that girl so cold. Never let me down, just lead me home. Don't tell me this is all for nothing. I can only tell you one thing. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I see everything you can be. I see the beauty that you can't see. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. Baby, I'll be out there somewhere, somewhere.
So I noticed a couple of very disturbing images in there where I had dark hair. I'm glad I started dyeing my hair gray. I was scaring little children. So here, I wanted to talk about risks, and what's most notable about this is where we work in Botswana, in the Okavango Delta. I spend more time wading through the river trying to get our vehicle unstuck from crocodile-infested waters. But what's most notable about this, of course, is that 9 times out of 10, Beverly's taking photographs from the dry top of the vehicle, while some muppet is out there trying to get us unstuck.
Well, it's all about documenting.
Yeah. But through all of this, we've had a few misadventures, and I think misadventures are part of exploring and part of being what we call emergency conservationists. So just a quick rundown. I've been bitten by 3 deadly snakes that turned out not to be deadly after all. And I've had 17 bouts of malaria, 21 scorpion stings, crashed 3 aeroplanes, been hit by elephants 4 times, and a couple of buffalo along the way. And buffalo. A little while ago, we ran into a buffalo, or should I say, he ran into us. Almost immediately, our lives changed. Days later, in exactly the same way. We were walking in camp in the evening. We didn't see the bull coming either.
It slammed into Derek, sending him flying. Broken bones, cracked his hip.
Seconds later, the buffalo impaled Beverly and ran off with her. I managed to get up and run after them, kicked the buffalo, and got her off the horns.
I blacked out on impact, but came to on the horns. Derek took care of me in the field for 11 hours before we got medical help.
Beverly died in my arms twice, and I managed to get her back both times.
I was in and out of consciousness.
This flame flickered, but was not ready to blow out just yet. It was a nightmare. This petite woman was broken, shattered, stitched, bolted back together again. But the damage was unimaginable.
9 months later, 22 hours of surgery, 27 broken bones, and I was eager to get back to the Okavango, that river I dreamed of over and over each day in hospital. Sometimes in a morphine haze, with Derek's hand that just refused to let go.
So as you can imagine, well, thank you. As you can imagine, something like an experience like that really has an impact on your life and can change your life and the way you look at the world. And what it did to us, I had a second chance. In fact, Derek had a second chance of having me close by. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
It's nothing like a morphine haze. I highly recommend it, by the way.
But it made us more determined to do more, to try and be more effective and to give others a second chance. So that's both to people and to animals. And for 25 years, we worked with lions, and lions are really important to the ecosystem. But we had a chance to switch for a short period and work with leopards. And because she's a solitary creature, she gave us the opportunity to look at an animal in a different way. She wasn't just a cog in the wheel of biodiversity. And of course, that's an aha moment because all animals are unique. But she had a great personality, and she was a great character, and all animals are. So in the time that we worked with her, over a 10-year period, over a 4-year period, 10,000 leopards were allowed to be legally killed. Now, that's disturbing on its own, but that's without the numbers of the illegal amount of leopards being killed. And we knew, after the experience we had with her, that we needed to be her voice and speak out. So we started the Big Cat Initiative at National Geographic and then looked at the stats of all the big cats. And of course, lions had plummeted down to 15,000, cheetahs down to 7. And so the Big Cat Initiative now gives out grants to 29 countries right through Africa and over 150 projects. And it's all to like-minded people on the ground that are working with the communities, and the communities are now part of protecting the land. We know that we all need to do more, but over a 10-year period, the stats showed that 4,500 lions were saved. So it's the beginning.
So as we navigate our lives, I look for guides, and I think we all do. One of our personal guides is elephants, and we spend a lot of time around elephants. Amazing animals. They embody so much of what we most like about ourselves. And in fact, it's been said that when asked about what elephants are, people say they're the same as humans, just better. And so they've got empathy and trust and the ability to think in the past, present, and future. They're altruistic and they have dignity and grace. And so as we navigate our lives, we look very closely at elephants for that humanity and what they bring to us and our lives.
Maybe I'm foolish, maybe I'm blind, thinking I can see through this and see what's behind. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Take a look in the mirror. What do you see? Do you see it clearer? or are you deceived in what you believe? 'Cause I'm only human after all, and you're only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Some people got the real problems. Some people out of love. Some people think I can solve them. Lord, heavens above, I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me.
So one of the unique experiences that we had with elephants was when we were watching them come and investigate the bones of a dead. It truly was a wake, a mourning experience. And that's one of the reasons why when an animal is poached or killed by a safari hunter, we have to know that we have an incredible impact on their lives. That piece comes out of a film that we called Soul of the Elephant. So that's really the reasons why we feel that we shouldn't be trading in ivory. Whilst we were at a recent ivory burn in Kenya, confiscated ivory that was being destroyed, it made us think that we really need to be respecting these animals. And one way to bring the spirit of the animal within the image was to actually create art with my photography. And the reason of doing that is we all need to realize that the 10,000 elephants that died for those burning piles of ivory on the day, an animal, many 10,000 animals should be roaming free. And what you don't realize is that when an elephant, an adult elephant, is killed for their ivory, the little calves run free but destitute and are going to die out in the field, or they're captured and taken to zoos around the world. So starting with our open piece calling, the madness of what's happening, this truly is insanity.
And then there were rhinos. So we came across this story where in the year prior to a new project that we took on, 1,250 rhinos were killed in South Africa in that single year. And as you can see through this journey so far, we're not happy with leaving one animal behind. There should be no animals left behind. So we took on this project of moving rhinos out of the bullets, the rain of bullets of poachers, and moving them. So then there was the pandemic, and the first thing we discovered or realized by March 2020 is that not only was the world in lockdown, but frontline conservationist rangers around the world were being sent home. And so we started a project called Project Ranger here, which was in essence to raise money to put these frontline rangers, these frontline conservationists back in the field. And so these are some of their voices. We were successful in raising a significant amount of money, getting a couple of hundred rangers back in the field, and making sure that their families also had benefits from that.
When I was growing up, I saw a lot of poaching happening in my home area. I took it up that let me stand up and do something and help conserve Mother Nature because of the poaching that I saw that was happening.
I do this job because they said the youth are the future generation of tomorrow.
What comes to my mind every morning when I wake up is to go and see my babies, which is our rhinos. I feel happy that we have got security to protect these species, to monitor them, to look after them.
When I see the creatures that we are protecting, when I see a clean environment, when I see the importance of these resources, I feel motivated.
When we lose our wildlife, it's so painful to me, and some other times I take it as too heavy in my heart.
When there is an intel that some poachers are entering, I ensure that that will not happen. Either we disturb them, we apprehend them, and bring them before the law for justice to prevail.
So these are all part of the solutions on how to protect those areas. And of course, these rangers are incredibly passionate, and the reason why we continue to support them is they are there to stop the extermination of Africa's wildlife, everything from elephants, rhino, pangolin, all the big cats. And of course, the bushmeat trade has escalated to an alarming rate. What we have discovered is that there is an organized transnational crime that is happening right through Africa. So we determined we will continue raising funds for these rangers so that they can be out there and protect their wildlife.
And then something interesting happened. We put out a call. Didn't make sense to us at all that there were men rangers everywhere and so few women rangers. And so we put out a call in local newspapers in Botswana and in Zimbabwe. We only had budget for 25 positions, but within 24 hours we had 200 applications. Women want to be part of the solution. And that was very, very encouraging, and these are some of their voices.
As women, we have to empower ourselves so that we can better people in the world.
I have to share, to teach them how conservation is being done.
We ladies, many a times, we are looked down upon.
It's going to change my life. This opportunity will mean a lot to my family. At least I have a better education. I can come up with initiatives how I can educate these ladies or young girls. When you have a better education, you know what is right, what is wrong.
I have to teach the community about conservation.
The way how we used to conserve, it is now to be to get it to another level.
Then, a couple of months ago, I got a call. Some people who owned a conservancy or concession in the southern part of Zimbabwe called and said, we know you can't help with this, but we're going to give you a chance anyway. But if you say no, as we know you will, then we just ask that you don't say anything and criticize us in the media. So with that lead-in, I said I may need a little context here. And the context was I had been through a couple of years of drought, and they were facing a choice. They were either going to cull their animals or let them die. So I said to him again, won't you tell me context? How many are we talking about? So he opened up a spreadsheet and he showed me exactly. And when I saw it, I knew that we had to do something. We had to lean forward into this. Now, as it happens, we had just taken on a lease for a big piece of land in the north of Zimbabwe, in the middle of a UNESCO site that's 1.6 million acres in size, government land. But the list itself included 400 elephants they were going to kill, and about 2,500 other animals. So as we speak now, this week and next, we obviously said yes, and we are about to move 3,000 animals away from certain death up into safety along the Zambezi River. And this is, thank you. And this is what that project's going to look like. There's a big difference between saying something and saying nothing. So.
Truly. And this project has begun. The collaring of the elephants to help select them and take whole families is happening now this month. But the important thing is where we're taking them to. This area has been hunted since 1950, so 8 decades of wildlife has been taken out. So this is a wonderful project to be able to rewild the area. Our ambition is to have a collective ambition to be able to speak out and do more for our planet so we can protect these areas. We are and propel ourselves forward to be emergency conservationists. We feel that there's no way we can just go back to documenting. We have to take action. So it would be the saddest situation if we can't heal our planet, the parts that are broken. We need to repair those areas, and we need to be able to know that when we hand over the world to the younger generation, it can't be devoid of wildlife. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.